Hey guys, what is going on? It is Cruz Avi here and I welcome each and every one of you to a brand new tutorial video for our channel, The Guide. And today I have my top 5 tips for creating more chances and scoring more goals in FIFA 20. We will cover everything from dribbling over skill moves to passing and also some stuff about mind gaming your opponent. So there's a bunch in there and I hope that will help you to improve your attacking game. Before we get right into that though, I have a very exciting announcement because we've decided to launch a Patreon. Now you guys know that we put a ton of work into the channel, into our videos. We always want to make sure that they're the highest quality possible on a production level and also content wise. And now we also added Valerio as a content creator who understands the game exceptionally well, and we will be able to provide even more content for you guys. And here on YouTube it's free to watch. And so for the people who would like to support us financially, we made the Patreon page where you can donate on a monthly basis and get some cool benefits in return for that. Now don't get me wrong guys, we're appreciating all of you who are watching the videos, subscribing, liking, commenting with your feedback. It's very much appreciated and sometimes overwhelming to see how positive you guys are about the guide and how much the videos help you out. And for those of you who would like to become a Patreon and support what we do that way, I've put the link to our Patreon page in the description down below. There you can find all the information on how to become a Patreon, the different tiers and all of that stuff, so feel free to check it out. And now with that said, let's jump right into my top 5 tips to score more goals in FIFA 20. So the first tip I can give you guys is being patient around the box. FIFA 20 is a slower game than previous FIFAs, which in part is due to the fact that your players provide less runs, and that's why you have to wait for the good opportunity until you can find the open man inside or around the box. I see way too many players always going for the first option available. They see a run, they go for the through ball. They see a player near the box, they go for the pass. But that's very easy to read for the opponent and very easy to defend and will lead to a loss of ball possession in many cases. Instead, what you want to do is use clever turns and strafe dribbling to keep the ball in your possession and wait for the right moment until you see an opening to go for the pass inside the box. Don't hesitate to switch sides or play the ball backwards to rebuild your attack, because that will eventually lead to your opponents making mistakes. Trust me, all of them at some point will pull out a center back or switch to a wrong player accidentally and position wrong and open up space that you then can use to score goals easily. Sometimes it's even just a good movement from your striker, the AI is not covering as well anymore, and that will lead to gaps and sometimes very easy passes. So moving the opponent's defense from side to side is definitely a good option to score goals in FIFA 20. The second tip is a strategy that's been working for a long time already in FIFA, and it's one of my favorites since I'm a possession player, so I like to keep the ball. And what you want to do is keep possession on the wing, because there you can't be pressured as easily and keep the ball more consistently. And also what's the benefit of that is that you're pulling out the opponent's defenders to come out to the wing, and by that create space in the middle of the pitch where you want to get the ball towards eventually, so that you can create some goal scoring opportunities. The important part here, and I've also talked about that in my passing combinations tiki-taka video from last year, is that you don't hesitate once you see the opening. You have to go for a quick passing combination. If you always first receive the ball, then the opponent has too much time to adjust to the situation and get his defenders in the right place again. So once you see that there is a path into the middle and some players of yours are free, then you want to play direct, quick one-touch passes to get the ball to one of your offensive players inside the box as soon as possible. Also, it's essential that you're then using the situation you've created and make a chance out of it. If you get a one-on-one situation inside the box, then go for it. I see way too many players hesitating, not being confident enough and just turning backwards and going for another pass outside of the box. And that's what you definitely want to avoid. In a game, you won't get many chances like this to beat the last defender and be free on goal, so definitely go for it once you're in that spot. In general, it's worth to mention that you you always should try to switch up your passing game. Play a few slow passes and then explode with a few quick passes like we've just discussed, or you can also play 2 quick passes, then keep the ball, dribble for a bit, switch sides and go for a few quick passes again. What you don't want to do is always having the same pattern of, for example, playing a pass, receiving it, going for a short dribble, playing another pass, because then the opponent at all times knows what you're going to do and the surprise effect is missing. Tip number 3 is faking out the opponent, and that's probably the one in the list that players are struggling with most. What you have to understand is that being successful with your attacks in FIFA comes down to mind games in a lot of situations, because both you and your opponent are thinking about the game. Once you get the ball and you're in attack, your opponent is constantly anticipating what your next moves are gonna be, and the better the opponent, the better his anticipation as well. So you have to come up with something creative, and the way that you do that is by faking out the opponent. So in situations where a lot of the times people are going for the same kind of patterns, that can be skill moves like the drag backs, the fake shots or a step over, or that can also be turns, shots or passes in a specific way and direction, you should try to do something different to surprise the opponent. For example, you can do a drag back in a situation where many players do a drag back to pull the ball back and then exit the other direction, let's say from the short post towards the far post. But instead, what you're going to do is pull the ball backwards but then go out towards the short post again and thereby fake a drag back in a normal 90-degree angle, and that can lead to your opponent making a few steps towards the wrong direction. That gives you this 1 meter of space inside the box and you can go for the shot immediately. Sometimes you don't even need skill moves for that. A few quick turns with the left stick can be enough to fake going a certain direction and then turning in the moment that the opponent is following you, and thereby creating a bit of space inside the box that's enough to go for a shot. What also works pretty well is threatening a shot in a semi-dangerous situation. So when you're on the edge of the box, for example, or you have a shooting angle that's not that great, but still many opponents are going to panic and they're going to try to rush in your way in order to block the shot. And then with a quick turn, a fake shot or something like that, you can change direction and increase the chance of your shot going into the goal, because now you have an even better angle, you have a free shooting opportunity, no defender in the way that potentially can block the shot, and that will result in a lot of goals. The same goes for passes and how you want to continue your play. You can look into a certain direction, take a few steps in that direction as well, and make your opponent think, oh, there is a lot of space, that looks like a dangerous spot, I need to intercept the potential pass or the dribble here, and then instead you can quickly turn direction with a skill or just with the left stick and continue the play on the other side, or even go for an immediate shot on goal. Next up we have through ball timing. Through balls are pretty important in FIFA 20 because they work very well, they have a good consistency, and also pace matters a lot more, so your strikers can outrun the center backs in a lot of situations, but still it's very important to not go for every through ball opportunity. Just because your player is making a run, that doesn't mean that you should play the through ball. If you are playing against a good opponent, he's seeing the run as well and he will cover it, so you should watch the defender and see if he's actually covering the run. If the defender is 2 meters or more in front of your player and is sprinting backwards to cover the run, then you shouldn't play the ball. Instead, you can just continue your dribble, go for other options, or wait until the timing is better. A good timing for a through ball is when your player is about to surpass the offside line, or when he's in full sprint and the defender is actually still moving forward. Then you can also play the ball earlier, because the defender still needs to turn around and accelerate, and you can use that time for your player to surpass the opponent and be free on goal. In order to wait for right timing, it's important to keep the ball close with a good dribbling or some ball rolls and stuff like that, because then you have a lot of ball contacts and a lot of opportunities to play the through ball. If you're sprinting forward, then the gaps between your moments where you can play the through balls are very big, because your ball contacts are very far from each other. So that's why it's important to have close control and always be ready to go for the through ball. I also want to talk about the importance of two new through ball options. The first one is the lofted through ball, and this one is like a cheeky little chipped through ball which is not that high, just above the ground, and that allows you to play through balls in tight areas that would normally get blocked because there are defenders in the way or they are covering the run. And I found that you can play way more through balls because of this option being in the game. You can complete 1-2 passes inside the box more easily, sometimes even get amazing little chips in between two defenders in order to create the chance, and you simply have to press triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox twice in order to chip the ball a bit above the ground and play this lofted through ball. We've also made a full tutorial video on it. If you haven't seen that one yet, it's linked in the top right corner, and I would highly recommend you to check it out since it's a very effective mechanic. And the second variation is the driven lobbed through ball. For this one we also have a tutorial, so that will also be linked in the top right corner. In order to do this passing variation, you just have to hold down L1 and R1 plus triangle on PlayStation, or LB and RB plus Y on Xbox. And this one is more like a lobbed through ball but with a more direct curve, so it allows you to get the ball to your striker quicker and in a more direct way so that the defender can't clear it. With the normal lobbed through ball you always have this very high curve, this very lobby arc of the ball, and that's why it's very slow and most of the times the defender catches up and clears the ball. And this driven lobbed through ball actually allows for a lot of interesting passing opportunities that before you didn't have. You can create some dangerous chances with this where your opponents will be totally surprised, so I would recommend you watching the tutorial video and trying it out in game. And last but not least, for tip number 5, we have one of the older passing mechanics in the game, passing with purpose, so playing a driven pass with R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox. And this feature kind of got forgotten a bit. It was very strong in the past, but then in the last FIFA years it wasn't as strong anymore because the passes weren't as accurate and your players would have trouble controlling the ball. But I found that now in FIFA 20 your players have more space in certain situations since the AI is not closing gaps as quickly and not helping out as much anymore by itself. So that means your players will be positioned in one-on-one situations more often, and that you can utilize by getting the ball to your striker quickly with a driven pass, and then you can catch the opponent off guard this way and immediately force him into a dangerous 1-versus-1 situation, or even be free on goal immediately if no player is intercepting the pass. So I found that this can definitely help you to create chances, get the ball to your striker more quickly, and then create something there. It's the same principle here as with building up over the wing and then passing the ball into the middle. If you get a one-on-one situation, then you want to use it. Don't go into a strafe dribble backwards and take all the pace out of the action once again, but instead go for a heel to heel or a shot fake, something that will make the opponent sweat, and always be anxious, always have the opponent on his toes. He needs to defend correctly, otherwise you will punish him. That's the mindset that you have to have in order to be successful in attacking in FIFA. So I hope that these tips will help you to score more goals in your game. If that's the case and you enjoyed the video, please leave a like since it helps out the channel and the videos massively. Also check the link to our coaching website in the video description if you're interested in private coaching by elite, top 100 and pro players to get your game to the next level in FIFA 20. And also subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any further video of the guide. I'll better talk to you in the next one. See you then, much love, peace.